Welcome to Wealthy Women's Conversation Podcast, where we celebrate the incredible journeys of everyday amazing women who are building their own path to wealth and financial security on their own terms. I am your host, Trishelle Williams, and I am so thrilled to have you join us today. Here on Wealthy Women Conversations Podcast, we are all about breaking the mold and rewriting the rules when it comes to creating wealth. Are you an amazing woman that's 40 years old or older who's looking to build financial freedom? Then this is a podcast for you. Our goal each week is to be a beacon of hope and inspiration, no matter your age or money experience level. On this podcast, you will hear from amazing women who have overcome obstacles, defied societal expectations, and created their own version of wealth, success, strength, and resilience. Now, get ready for a heartwarming, relatable, fun, and empowering conversation that will leave you feeling motivated to take action. Together, we'll shatter limitations, challenge conventional thinking, and redefine what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. So, let's tune in to today's conversation. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited that you guys are joining us. You all have been doing an amazing job at being present with all of the amazing episodes with all the awesome and amazing women that we have had the opportunity to speak with. Today is no different. I'm too excited. One of my longest standing friendships. I get a chance to interview her today, Dr. Felicia Clark. She is here. She's going to give you some yummy and good. For those of you who are new to my podcast, we are here, as you heard in the intro, to have some real conversations on what we do as women to create wealth for our lives. And we do it with ease, and we also do it on our own terms. We create it based on what it is it looks like for us. And I am so excited that I get to say hey to Felicia. Hey, girl.
Hey, Trishelle.
Hey, girl. Hey, for those of you who don't know, I call Felicia, we call her Fee. So you might hear me say Fee. You be like, who's she talking to? Because that's the same person, but y'all call her Dr. Clark. Listen, stop playing. So welcome. I'm so excited. I'm so thankful that you took some time out of your amazing schedule to chat with us and my community about what it takes and what you have done to create an amazing wealthy space. I got so many stories, Fee, like so many, but I'm going to let you first. Okay. Introduce yourself before we get all inside of the conversation. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are. And
I will do that.
Absolutely.
And, if you're going to call me Fee, then I'm going to call you Shell.
That part, right? Tell the truth. Tell the whole truth.
Yeah, it is so good to at least cyber see you. I'm going to be out in that part of the country in a little minute because, my sister stays out there.
Okay.
And so gosh, I don't know where to start.
Girl, give them your background. Where you start out? Where did we meet? Get the background.
Girl, okay, do you really want me to say how we met? Because
girl, yes, I do. This is real conversations, okay. Girl.
I know Vajesta is still in your group, so
absolutely.
Many of your
she
listeners
still is. Yep, all of that still too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Vajesta and I met. We were in Teach for America, and then we went to grad school together at Pepperdine. So I was in charge of a school district area in Los Angeles, and Vajesta's house is in my area where I'd have to drive from school to school. So like at the end of work, I would stop by because Vajesta could cook, and then her husband Eric could cook. And you know how you just be the neighborhood girl after work, I ain't about to cook. At that time, I cook now. But So I would always go, and then you'd be just sitting there posted up, and I was like,
Hosted.
okay, Harpo, who this woman? Girl, you just sit there staring. And so, but Jessica would let people stay with her sometimes. And I was like, but Jessica, do she live here? And because we talk about you in the kitchen. I'm like, what's she doing? She always just sitting here staring at people. And so Jessica's like, girl, that's your soror. She nice, she cool, she from my church. And so I said hi to you, but after 4 times, girl, you just was sitting in the corner staring. Like,
Girl, I don't remember. I probably was just in overwhelm. Probably, most likely. I was so freaking young and so like, this is over 20 years ago. Like,
right?
20 plus. I would say close to about 23, 24 years ago.
I'm not trying to lie about my age, girl.
Girl, I know, right?
People start adding and counting and
okay, they be trying to see what's going on. I'm just saying.
No, but yeah, but that's the thing. When I found out how young you were and then why you were doing that, I was like, wow, that is so cool. And so one of the things that I don't know, it was weird because I didn't know you were that young, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember you had like 15 degrees and like 4 masters and you went to UCLA and then girl, I can't keep up. And so I remember you kept getting promoted. And so you were assistant principal when I was. And so I just thought you were around our age, but you did look a lot younger, but you Black. So we do that.
Right,
So,
right.
I didn't know.
Girl, I
And
was
so,
just amazed. It was just I was in a space where I definitely moved quickly through the education
yes, you
system
did. Yes, you did.
and moving into spaces that normally folks my age and my race and gender didn't quite move
Right?
in that space. I really was, I would say, kind of a unicorn, being able to navigate and get into spaces that I wouldn't normally be able to get into with that ease. But I was always so overwhelmed with the amazing women who looked and sound like me. And so y'all, for real, it was just, y'all were really like like guiding lights, like for real. Cause I think, Felicia, I ain't gonna even lie. I remember when you first got your Lexus. I remember, and I want to say that probably was the first, like, that was before I got my luxury car. But like, I remember you being this person who I was like, oh, I could get a luxury car. Like, I remember those moments.
You had like
And
4, 5 luxury cars.
right, and it was like with ease. Like, I don't know, and I know that we engage from spaces. We look at ourselves differently in the spaces that we're in, and people looking into our spaces. We are in the space of oh my gosh, wow. While and then you're in the space walking it out, and you're engaging with all the things, all the ups and the downs, just all the things. And I don't remember. Were you at like a beach house somewhere, girl? Like,
Yeah, I lived in Playa del Rey on the beach.
Yeah, girl. See,
Yeah, girl. Okay, well, I don't know if you should bring that up, but remember when the AKA had the issue that the
yes,
hell
I do
they
remember
were
that.
trying to come to my house, girl. And that's one thing I always liked about you. Because I was raised in church, but I had just negative experience, so I stopped going to church. Girl, y'all kept me up on things.
Girl, for real, right? In the know, huh?
Like every
All the crazy.
lecture from Bishop Blake from y'all, right?
Right.
And so, but remember, they came to my house, but I wasn't home. And
Ah,
so I always pray for covering. I don't want to be caught up in that mess. I did not pledge nobody. I did not.
girl.
Remember, they drowned
Yes,
at the beach,
I
and so
do
I
remember
stayed
it very
right down the
clearly.
street. And
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
our
I
friend,
remember that
when they
too.
got caught up, she came to my house trying to bring them pledges to my house. And girl, I'm like, I'm so glad I was not home. And I just, I don't know, but
Yeah, that
part of
was
what building, you need to have your spiritual system, pray for covering, pray for what you can handle,
absolutely.
because, um, uh, anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was a
So
lot,
it's
but I
really different.
remember you were probably the first person I recognized to be in luxury spaces. And from my viewpoint at that space, I didn't know no better, but I was still very young. I was still trying to figure stuff out. But from my viewpoint, you were doing it with ease. You were doing it like so flawlessly. I want to go there. And it
Oh,
was
girl,
like,
no, that was not flawless.
that was not right. Like I know that now, but
Okay.
watching it, it felt so flawless. Like I remember hearing you and V talking about you moving into different spaces and the things that you wanted to do, and the next thing I know, you were there. And so, from my perspective, it looked like it was like you gliding on a cloud somewhere. Now, of course, I know that wasn't the case, but that's what my perspective was, and it gave me the my first set of awareness of creating a life outside of where I grew up. So I really appreciated that. So go,
You know
tell, give them your
what
back.
I appreciated about you is I guess this is appropriate for wealth building, right? So what I'm trying to do is I don't even have language for it, but there's a shadow side of wealth building.
Uh huh.
And I always had like drama investments. And girl, I'm like, I'll be at home, I don't bother people. How do I end up in all this mess? But I think it's just like a family karma thing because people would come up and then it's just something so negative attached to it. And it's like I don't know the word, but like I've just been trying to I don't I'm being careful about the words because back in the day we had our real estate portfolios and you were the first one
Yeah.
to hit the $1 million mark.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And because you'd be sitting there staring at people and I would try to warm up to you and I was like, I don't know what to say to her. And then you sing church songs and I don't go to church, but I tried to keep up, but I really can't sing and y'all can sing and I didn't really know the words. And so that it just didn't go well. But we were just trying to connect. And then since we're sorority sisters, that was something.
Mm-hmm.
But I still didn't you were around a long time, but I didn't know you. And then
Mm-hmm.
one time we played Scrabble and girl, oh, y'all don't want to play Trishelle in Scrabble. She switched up. She for real. And so you beat me in Scrabble. And I usually win. I'm like, what? But girl, you like all this attitude came out. You know how you play dominoes and slam them down? Like you play
Right.
Scrabble like
Right.
that.
Like
Like
who
you
this
doing that
person? Who
Scrabble, you
this?
beat me.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it definitely will come out, which is another reason why I don't like board games no more. I'm like, I don't like the person I become. That
I'm
person.
like,
Yeah.
because you're so refined, like it's hard to picture you growing up, in your area with the gang violence and stuff. But like when you play Scrabble,
It
oh,
show up, don't it? Don't it
you
come
got
out?
bored.
Girl, it be coming out. And it's so funny because people would always say, no, you didn't grow up there. Yes, I did. Now, for
Girl, play
whatever
Scrabble with
reason,
her. You don't know.
right. Certain stuff will trigger it and it shall come out. It is so not the norm. And so when it shows up and comes out, everybody head is like, what? And I'm like, I be
Mhm.
working hard not to have all of her come out because it's there.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, just like, so what happened with all that? Your real estate portfolio, well, all of our real estate portfolio was messed up, but you can just switch your style of investing with economic trends. And so I remember I called you, I don't know, early 2010s or something. And I was like, girl, like they got all these foreclosed houses. Let's get some from the bank. And you was like, I'm done with this. So I bought a house for 35,000, girl, a nice house that just needed carpet and paint because people just walking away from their houses. So that went way up. And I was like, okay, when I cashed that house out, I'm like, well, let me stack some cash because that's what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a healthy investment thing. Like I should grow my money more. But
Right.
again, what motivates you to be wealthy? Like for me, I just had two things. Like I grew up in a family, mostly two-parent homes where the men made the money, and then they married a woman and didn't want her to make a lot of money because they wanted her to be trapped, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just all kinds of domestic violence, like there was hitting, but in our home it was more like verbal abuse and some hitting, but okay, I don't want to cuss on your show.
Girl, go for it. Go. We here. This real
But
stuff.
I'm watching this abuse, and then in church, abuse is so bad, and the
Yeah.
women, like if they want to leave, they pray for the women to get patience and be forgiving. I'm like, y'all gonna be playing this Smith and Wesson up in here. You come at me like that. So I didn't really have a lot of physical violence because I learned just you got to do batshit crazy stuff. And like my stepfather threw me into a wall when I was I'm gonna guess 14 or 15 because my sister left for college. Because when my sister was there, like she burned him when he tried to hit her. Like she was really not playing. So then I learned, I started studying weaponry and hand-to-hand combat and all that. So like I can fight. And so people like, oh, Felicia, you're so good. Girl, I can lay somebody out, right? I can fight because I grew up in a house like that. So you know how you would have braids and put the beads on the end, like Russian. I liked her hairstyle back in the day. So I had got my hair done like that. So you know how tight your hair is with braids?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just finished my hair and I come home and my stepfather, I don't know, he just was start stuff because he wanted to fight. And I don't even remember what the fight was about. But he grabbed my braids and swung me around and threw me into a wall. I jumped on his back. I dug my fingernails in him, and I'm pissed. And I know, like, I got to be like over the top so he don't ever hit me again, in which he did not. So I'm like, oh, I'm having like 30 days of payback. So I would just do like little annoying stuff, right? Because the fight me and he gonna win, but like he had wine. I'll dump. You know how wine is in a dark bottle and you can just see how I feel like I dump his wine out. That could repeat. But that was enough to annoy him and to make it. And then I do stuff like that, and then I damaged his record collection and put it back. And he had a very nice international record collection. So I just find little stuff to do to be very, very, very annoying. So it just wasn't worth it. So I didn't get hit much because I'm like, the first time 30 days, then I'm about to level up. If you ever raise your hand to me. So then he's like, you got to get out. You got to leave. I was like, okay, deuces. So it was this older couple in Arvada that would let me rent a furnished apartment for $400. So I drove over there. Now I'm 14, 15, right? But I could drive since I was a kid. My father had a business and just had a lot of vehicles with his business. So I know how to drive. So I take the car and I go rent this apartment. I sign the paper. And then she's like, okay, well, it's ready to move in, but we're going to do whatever. I don't know, whatever they're going to do. So she looks at my ID, girl, like a school ID, right? She's like, are you a kid? And I was like, I'm grown. I got a job. So she's like, I can't rent to you without your parents or you have to be emancipated. So I go back home. I'm like, I'll leave. That's fine because I'm tired of y'all. But I got to be emancipated. And my mom's like, girl, back. So I did. So then he's like, well, she got to go. So then he called my father and was saying she got to get out. And so my father, I can't even remember the timeline, girl. It's just, I had to heal from a lot of this, right? I've been up a lot because that's true. Like you got to move beyond this because this is all
a part of it,
directly or indirectly because of money on some level. And I mean, it's so anyway, I don't remember if my father was still living in his house. Anyway, my father had a house not too far from us. He bought the house that my mother grew up in when they got divorced. So there's some issues and drama surrounding that house too, right? He felt like he wanted my mom to come back. Now she's married to someone else, but he felt like if he would kind of stay in the era when they courted where she lived in that house, maybe she would come back. And so that's where he lived, right? So my father made a lot of money, but lived modestly I guess beneath his means. I don't know. He had a lot of
Mhm.
disposable income because his house wasn't that much, but he liked living in that house because my mother had lived in that house. So anyway, lots of weird, dysfunctional financial issues going on all over the place. And so I'm like, I'm fine with moving because since my father had businesses and stuff, I knew how to pay for a household and all that. And I worked a job, I made enough money and I saved money. So I'm like, I'll move. But I couldn't. And so then there's a layer of, I always felt like the women are trapped in these domestic violence situations because of money. So I'm about to stack my
Absolutely.
paper, like, but it's other things too, like the church, because my mom, she was degree, she had money, but she didn't really get hit a lot, but it was like psychological manipulation,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
and that and this, Jesus wants you to be married and stay
Mhm.
married for the kids. Mm-mm, you ain't got to stay married for us. I ain't about to deal with none. I'm about to be up out of here anyway,
Mhm.
because you can leave when you're 17, but not when you're 14 or 15.
Mhm.
And so girl, I was out of there when I was 17. But um, I don't know. It was just such like dysfunction. And when you put money with dysfunction, it's a big old
Yeah.
hot mess. And I don't know. I think part of it, how they say forgive and forget. I really don't remember a lot of it because it was just toxicity running my life. You think you
Right.
escaped,
Right.
but no, you
At
stay.
what at what point at what point, Fee, did you like understand those engagements in your early childhood, teenage years was affecting your money life as an adult? Because I
Okay,
know you were
okay,
making
so let's go back. Remember you said, "Oh, your life looks so smooth," and
right. Yep.
girl, I was suffering from exhaustion. Like exhaustion, people say I'm exhausted,
Yeah.
but medically, there's a literal medical condition where you can be exhausted. I had two work friends that just dropped dead. Like they worked a hard day, they went home and died, and I was just like, I can't keep doing this. But like I'm trying to walk away from a six-figure job. There's a lot of perks
Mhm.
that come with the life, but I was so tired. So I started getting sick, and my definition of wealth became I can sleep and wake up when I'm done sleeping.
Mhm.
And I need enough money to do that. And I got it like with the quickness because when you have a why, just things fall in place. And I knew how to do real estate deals. But they teach you, oh, calculate the deal and do this. Girl, when I needed to have money so I could sleep enough and heal my body, um, my deals they all were on. And so I put away money back then because you did.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Uh sorry, Trishelle.
No.
I gotta do something real quick.
Okay.
Um,
Let me pause it.
I'm walking. Okay, sorry.
Okay, you there, Fee?
Yeah, sorry for the little interruption, and I don't remember. Girl. Um,
Life be
oh,
happening all of the
I
time.
know, but I don't even like to talk about that. Like, I'm good with it, but it sounds, well, it was a lot.
Yeah,
But
I think the good thing about talking about it, Fee, is because the very thing you said is that I looked at it and thought everything was sweatless and easy and no big deal. And so then someone else who is looking at me or someone else who's looking in, who's attempting to walk it out and create a sustainable financial life because they've experienced childhood abuse or they don't want to be what was and what they've seen the other women in their family doing. They don't know that there is a process to get to the space, or that if you bump up into a problem or if your portfolio crashes because the whole
right,
world
right.
crashes, that nothing's wrong with you, right? It's just the fact that life happens to everyone. And not really having real conversations, which was the whole point of having wealthy women conversations, is to have real conversations so people can really understand that people are living life. Yes, we are creating the wealthy life we desire, but it is definitely not a straight line. It's not a straight
No.
line.
Okay. So like all these years, right? And you be over the house, we hang out. I have a lot of family in California. Did you ever see my relatives
Yeah.
visiting? But it's like hateration, but not everybody but again, the right people are there. So I have my dad's brother, he recently just passed like a few months ago. Um he let me live with them
Mm-hmm.
before, like before I met you when I first
Mm-hmm.
moved to California.
Mm-hmm.
Because I finished college, I was 21 and I moved out there and started my job, and I could just save money because I lived with them. And the men, they like providers for real. And so this uncle, he married my aunt when they were teenagers. I think 19, he was 19, and they were married till he died at close to 80. He was 79. So he was just very like a super provider. All the men were like, very nice quality of life. They had beautiful
Mm-hmm.
homes,
Mm-hmm.
a big home, and then their kids were grown, so they were happy to have me. And then my mom would tell them, like, she has a career, don't let her stay in your house for free. You need to make her pay some bills. So I remember my uncle, he was very uncomfortable. He had his hands in his pocket, and he's like, well, he's trying to use my mom's words. And he was telling me, well, you're an adult, you need to take on some responsibilities. You need to pay some bills if you're going to stay here. I said, okay. And then he looked at me like, what? Because see, part of the thing when men are the providers, they think women can't provide. They think not that you're raising kids, taking care of a house, cooking every day, but they just think you don't have intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my aunt was brilliant. I mean, she's still alive, but she has dementia now. But anyway, so he's real nervous about giving me financial responsibilities because he's not used to that. Girl, he handed me a phone bill. He's like, you're going to have to pay the phone bill. You talk on the phone a lot. And so you're going to need to pay that. So I said, okay, fine. Girl, it was like $50 or something. Because I had those AT&T cars back in the day,
Right.
so I would put my long distance on my card, not on their phone. So
Right.
I have a whole salary and a career. And he's like, you need to pay $50. I'm like, okay, well, I can just pay all the utilities, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he looked and he's like, well, this is a big house and the heating bill's a lot. Girl, after going back and forth, he was so uncomfortable. Um, I don't know, I had like $250
Mm-hmm.
um, bills with a salary. So yeah, I'm getting me like some nice, I had investments. I bought me a nice
Mm-hmm.
car and all that because I didn't really have bills and gas, and I had to buy some better clothes and just stuff like that. But so I just had help with the family.
Right.
Um, I don't know, but I can't. I don't know what to say about wealth because it's just always drama attached to it. So
So
my
why do you
uncle.
think it's drama? Like when
Okay,
you
so
say
so
drama,
so
what
here's what I wanted to say, what I forgot. Okay,
yeah.
so remember you, since you just came up, like you learned and you didn't have all that drama surrounding money, right? So at least from my vantage point. And so I started doing what you did. And you had put money away like in the early 2010s or something after.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I did. And so that account, when COVID lockdown, all the businesses, okay, I'm like, I'm gonna need to get that account. So it should be valued like around 168.
Mm-hmm.
I need that right now, like in 2020. So I go to get it. Girl, this man done a whole fraud thing. He been sued by 20 people. He's hemming and hawing about, oh, well, the economy, there's a downturn and no one's working in the office and, just BS, right?
No.
So now it's still the state of California just made like some sanction ruling like last Thursday. But bottom line, I'm thinking I'm okay, I'll be cool with COVID, and I needed some downtime. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll pull out 100 grand or something. And then I was like, that's stupid. I really don't even need that because you got to be at home, right? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, stuff ain't open. So I was like, I just wanted $40,000 out of $168,000, and I can't get it. Like, what? I'm about to be up in your office, like, Suge Knight, okay?
Okay.
And so, but I'm trying to not have that energy because, like, why?
Yeah.
So to me,
Yeah.
that's what I mean by drama. Like,
Yeah.
how you gonna try to steal my account? All right, so people been suing them left and right, and nothing sticks. This
Mm.
time my life works. You know what will stick? Um, their license for California. Now I had a California ID. I worked for a California university at that time,
Mm.
um, but I'm living in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So he flew to Colorado because I just didn't have the energy. I was like, I don't want to go to California just to sign some paperwork. And I thought that was weird. Why do I have to go to California? Well, legally, they're not licensed to sell these securities in Colorado. So that's how I can win. But I don't want to be in court. But it's just since last week. And I called him. I'm like, I need you to make it right because I don't want to fight you. But you know that, like you read The Art of the Deal.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they're like, just don't, Trump was basically saying you got to tear people a new asshole when you comfort them. And
Yeah.
so that's the same thing like my sensei when he was teaching me, when they teach you how to take a life with your hands, they're not going to teach you unless you get over your triggers, right?
Right. Right.
And so you got to walk away and don't engage or just try diplomacy first. So that's what I tried with this fool, but he crazy. And girl, I'm an asset reacher. This asset researcher. So this dude got a whole boat down in Cabo talking about he got cash flow problems. Okay, well, let me stay on your boat until you work that out.
Okay.
Until you give me my money. Right. And so
Mhm.
uh but that's what I mean. Like, you do the right thing. That's supposed to be the right thing, but what we taught isn't the right thing. What we've been taught is
Correct.
not the
And
right thing.
that's
We're
the
taught to
deal.
work, and
Yeah.
then they'll upgrade you. You get some little degrees and stuff. They'll upgrade your pay, but it's just upgraded servitude for them.
Yeah.
And they be putting some nice perks with that when you're ready to walk away. But we didn't learn wealth building. We learned high salary.
Yeah.
And my my benchmark for wealth it is too low. Like, you don't got to make that much if all you want to do is just get enough rest. But you do have to make something and get passive income. So I did that, and I could live nice off that 40 grand, but like, why can't I get that? What are you doing with my money? So there's still legal problems with
Mm-hmm.
that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in court. I don't know. I give myself but that's just that. It's like four other lawsuit things. This fool goes through our neighborhood and just start hitting all the cars. He's totaling cars. So he totaled mine. And so one of the things for wealth building is asset protection. So
Absolutely.
they just said put stuff in your trust. So my car's in the trust. I do not want to expose that trust. I work so hard, girl. I'll be hiding stuff. Like you
Right.
can find no, I got respect. So I don't want my trust on record with this stupid car. Well, I don't want to say stupid car. It was a nice car. I appreciate my car, but that's what I mean by you try to level up and do things right, but you're gonna miss some stuff. How are you supposed to know all this, right?
You don't. You
I
don't.
don't.
Yeah.
And so that was stupid to put that. Well, I won't say stupid, but not the best strategy to have that kind of car in my trust with other stuff. So now I'm dealing with that.
Yeah.
And I like my car. You spend a lot of time driving. I want a nice car that I like driving. So I started looking for another car, and I just haven't found a car that I want right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stressful driving cars and all that. So anyway, I got to deal with that. And then the insurance just trying to lowball me, and I tried to work that out, and they acted a fool. So that might end up in court. I don't know, but I was just like, geez.
So
Uh,
Fee, like I know you start talking, and I part we have not talked or delve into in this conversation is understanding the shadow work that has to be done. And I know,
right.
And I know that a lot of people who are connected to me, or at least the initial group of people who are connected to me, are connected because of my church affiliation. And I have recently been in a lot of spaces where I am asking very different questions. And shadow work is definitely one of those things where I have definitely been, it's on the forefront of things that are important to me to do, because the reality is that, one, we haven't been taught like all the things we want. Like, do you put your car in your trust where it now has to be exposed, and all of the things to when something happens to it? Like, there's no way to really know those kind of things until you engage with it and then you share it. And because that is a thing, a lot of people who are connected to me are now getting into the space of wealth building. And that's the thing that's pushed big time. Get your trust. Don't put your assets in, make sure your stuff is in a trust. But you don't know all the things, right? And all those things matter. And then it can become a whole nother headache, and it becomes a whole nother thing. But I also, to get to the point that I'm trying to get to, is the space of doing the shadow work that allows you to release what you are drawing to yourself. And a lot of the things that we are unaware of that, side note, I'm writing a 10-year, my memoir for 10 years from 40 to 50. And honey, listen, I'm titling the book "That Shit Was Fucked Up."
Okay, so we can cuss up in here.
Yes, girl, that is the title of the book, right? Yes,
but you know what? Profanity, that is the proper language for profane things. And
yes, it is.
I love one of the things about you and Trishelle, Trishelle, you are Trishelle. You and Vajezitha, like, why I just cherish our friendship. We didn't have to lie about being okay, because it was fucked up for real.
Very much so. Very much so.
People looking at you, oh, you're the model of success. You want to be mentor, girl. Do not just say no. Do not
just say no, because what I gotta tell you, your whole life is gonna be upside down. I totally agree. How much shadow work are you doing, Fee?
Oh, girl, too much. And when I mean it, and I was, because you'd be like, okay, rip the Band-Aid off. I was like, oh, no, I don't like the shadow work, because, okay, like, what's the best way to paint the picture? So, like, spiritually, I get those concepts. So, like, one spiritual concept, people say no weapon formed against me shall prosper, right? Prosper. Okay, well, that whole scripture is enemies will assemble at the gate. So, like, your spiritual cover is the gate. So enemies come for you, but they blocked, right?
Right.
Okay, and so enemies will assemble at the gate. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. So they be throwing darts, be like, got a whole bunch, real busy. Throw you off your game, but like, you spiritually covered for that, like, you really are. But we've been taught to hustle, to fight. No, be gone. Like, I'm not about to deal with you right now. So but inside the gate, who's there? You. And you're an enemy against yourself, and you don't know, but that's what your shadow is. So I had like all these shadows, because even like, why do I only make 6 figures? And now, why have I always stopped and not been a millionaire? Like, you did it. I was in a real estate group, and this waitress lady did it. She was the first one to be millionaire. I got millionaire friends. Why? How come I'm not? Like, that's my shadow, right? But then at the same time, like, just getting money for sport, that's not motivating enough. So then what are you doing with money, right? What do you want? Do you want to buy stuff? Because I kind of don't. And I think, like my sister, she sold off her assets, and she's like, I'm moving to Costa Rica. When her kids got grown, she just wanted to travel. And that's more drama too, right? Because, she passed.
Yeah.
And I'm not good with that. I'm not. But I'm making myself go out and be social and stuff. But it's just, that's what happened. Okay, so now, remember my nephews, because you took the road trip when they were born.
Yeah, I do.
Girl, they about to be 21, right?
Ooh,
Okay.
Now you
Yeah.
talking about numbers. Listen.
Right.
I tell you it was
Okay.
20 plus, right?
Right. But yeah, they're 20. So they want to start investing. Everyone's like, oh, that's so good. But how do they get the money? Both of their
Yeah.
parents are deceased, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their father passed and it was set up. They were going to get their father's money when they turned 21. My sister passed. So she had it set up and she was very organized. And that's why I wonder, was she sick and she didn't tell us because her estate was so organized. But like they sitting on a stack. So they're doing really well. Like I'm very proud of them. They're they grew up but quickly. So like on one hand, like they're not gonna, well, I won't say they don't have financial problems, a different set of problems. But if they do right, they can have a comfortable life with the money that both their parents left them. But the cost for that money is they ain't got no parents. And so
Yeah.
he would
Yeah.
always say, will you look after my boys if anything happens? So of course, but they're grown. And now, I don't have kids and I know I'm not their mother, but I'm trying to kind of mother them or I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's a lot of the space of how we just as African Americans get to the space of having the initial investment to be in a space where we can, versus the whole thought around the bootstrapping thing that's crazy as hell in its own space. But
yeah.
but being able to do that, what's the exchange that happens? And I think the part of the reality of how we get and potentially could get to the space of where we want is being able to have the knowledge, or at least making sure that we are being aware of what we getting to the space of awareness. So like I heard you say, I don't want to just go spend money, right? So being able to really understand what's the purpose for it and why you want it and what it's for, because the other side of it, I think the other side feed for us is that we definitely came from the space of we need to be model success stories. Like,
Girl, please, I wasn't, and that was the thing because like you told me that you thought me of as a role model. I'm like, oh girl, it's like a whole side, because you code switching all day.
you code
Girl.
switching all day, but the
That
space
down.
of it, but the space of my point in that is the space of we said yes to it. We still said yes
Yes,
to
yeah.
all the crazy. We said yes to the crazy hours. We
And
said yes to
that's the role in the drama money. Yep.
yeah. We said
But I
yes to
know.
all of that.
But and so I had to look at like what is my role in that because part of the healing. So like you're a woman doing wealth management and mindset. Okay, but money, the flow of money, spending money, getting a good quality of life with money, that's feminine. Planning for your money, protecting your money, growing your money, that's masculine. So I like having like a female wealth mentor and a male wealth mentor, right? Because both together, this is why healthy couples, not that dysfunctional foolishness, but like healthy men and women together build wealth because that's how it's supposed to be, right? But and even marriage itself is property law, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
try explaining that to a man that's like, oh, we're supposed to be in love. What's wrong with you? All these other women are so much easier. Okay, well, go marry them, and they about to take half your. Okay, I don't want to catch that much, but they looking at me. But she the one that's gonna be a come up from divorce. I'm saying property law is marriage. Like if you got a deed, a deed of a warranty deed or maybe it's on a deed of trust. I don't know. Read it. Like it says to have and to hold, and it says to perpetuity. That's analogous to till death do us part. But you can sell your home. Okay, that's analogous to divorce. It's property law. I mean, and I'm not trying to kill your romance. If you want to, you.
No, but
But
it's
I say for
important.
my
You gotta
estate,
know.
right. And you don't even have to get married for forever, but there are spiritual reasons to do that. But you don't, it's a contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh. that ain't romantic enough to like, I'm not about to ruin my state to be married when because you know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to, like, you contract all that, but they've turned that into prenuptials, and that's like, it's different from that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But anyway, just all of that goes into estate planning. Okay. Um, Now the other part of what I call drama money, right? So my nephew, he was like, "Well, Auntie, I'm going to invest in real estate," and he's like, "Can you pick me a house?" And I was like, "No, no, I don't want to pick a house because I pick disaster houses." Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
so when you say, I said yes to that. I had to really go back because I have journals and stuff, and I would just write down like my prayer for when I went to real estate. I prayed for good tenants. I got that. I wanted more financial success than average. I got that, but oh Lord, how did it come? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I at one point, like when you had your properties, you were investing in Georgia and I was investing in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so like we would take the kids to Disney World and stuff like that and and I would go look at the properties. Um so it's been years. I keep doing it. But anyway, in Palm Bay, Florida, because I'm trying to heal this. So I had to go look at the footage. It was like a fire in May on Mother's Day, in May of 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Palm Bay, there's a rich part on one side of the bay, and then there's like a working class neighborhood, but a really cute neighborhood on the other side of the bay. And that was one of my ethics that um I feel like when my mom left my dad, she didn't have money because he had the money. So we lived like very low income and poverty for about 4 years till my mom got out of school and then remarried. She met my stepdad in college. And but she's like, well, remember when, we didn't have money. And
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Wealthy Women Conversation Podcast. We hope you found inspiration and wisdom as we sat at the table to grow and learn with our amazing guest who has paved the way for her own financial freedom. Remember, you hold the power to create your own version of wealth, success, and fulfillment. No matter where you are on your journey, it's never too late to take control of your financial future. Keep seeking knowledge, exploring opportunities, and embracing your unique strengths. Together, we're challenging the norms, shattering limitations, and redefining what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. Join us for future episodes as we share captivating stories, insightful advice, and practical strategies to support our wealthy journey together. If you enjoyed this podcast, please don't hesitate to return next week where there will be another amazing, brilliant, and absolutely captivating guest to speak on what it takes to build your own path to wealth and success. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Women Conversations podcast. Stay focused, determined, and strive for the wealthy life you desire. Until next time, I'll see you on the wealthy side.